Hi class, this is Jim Still, and I just wanted to talk about my experience with the country simulation and what I learned. Um, Over the entire simulation, I was really intrigued by how many aspects went into making a decision toward what kind of pricing or branding or anything of that sort that you'll have to consider when entering a new market. I always thought that when a company decided to broaden their horizons, they just kind of went along with what was working in other places. But even country to country, not just regions, there's so many aspects that go along with making that decision. For me, with the practice simulation, I was more just guessing what would work, like the pricing and things like that, what works in America. But and it worked okay, but I felt that there was a lot more aspects that I could have taken into account. Once the original simulation started, the actual one, I decided to start with China. Well, our team did. Our team decided to start with China. Um, I knew that it was a big enough population that could carry um, a new competitor. And I knew that I could try a few things out with pricing and SKUs where like a smaller economy wouldn't. You'd have to pick the right thing right away. Once I developed kind of a pattern, um, we decided to go to India next. Um, the Indian trial wasn't as good. We tried to apply too many of the things that we did in China to the Indian market, but the the GDP and the average age and economy of that country didn't match up with what we were doing in China. So the things didn't sell as well. We were spending too much. The cost of goods sold was way too high. So, but our idea was we were too hesitant to pull out of that country, even though we should have with the strategy we were implementing. But once we decided to move on from there, we went into Taiwan, which was a big plus for us. We Our BEI after the first 4 or 5 years with just China was bouncing around the 49 to 50 range as we changed a few things here and there. When we went to India, it dropped way down to about 41 or 2. I don't really remember exactly. But once we entered into Taiwan, we knew that they were a stable economy. They had a young population, and they did a lot of business. They were buying a lot of toothpaste to begin with, so we knew that that would be another good area to enter into. And once we did, and we kind of applied the same strategies that we're using with China, the BEI shot up almost 10 points to about 55, which wasn't exactly where we wanted to be at the end, but considering how far we had fallen, where we ended up, I felt that that was a good accomplishment for us and it was a good learning experience. If we had continued, we probably would have dropped India and moved to Japan, which was another great economy. And their per capita spending was really high. I didn't really pay attention to that early on, and I wish I had because I probably would have avoided India and gone to Japan then Taiwan. But if we had a few more years, I probably would have moved into Japan. Um, Also, I realized like how much investment goes into this. I figured it was just simply introducing a product and going, but it felt like the more money we were spending on production and the money we were spending on um, promotion within the markets and the money we were spending on advertisement really took us to the next level each year. Just making small adjustments, raising. We had a facility in China, and that was we were slowly expanding their capabilities, which helped us lower those cost of goods sold rather than bringing it in from America. But overall, it was a great learning experience. I was kind of hesitant going into it. I understand business concepts, but marketing isn't really my strong point. But I definitely have a new appreciation for it. I feel like there's so much more that goes into it, and I know going forward that this simulation will be a great stepping stone for me if I were to go into some kind of business like that. And even if I go into business on my own, I feel like the lessons that I learned will be something that I can carry on. Just trying to get my product out there, especially if we go international. But overall, it was a great experience, and I hope everybody else did too.